Such? So is the stampede news very important? Why? What do you think? Which topic of the syllabus relates with it? Census. Census and stampede. Do you think there is any relation? Huh? Frequently happens. So I'm asking which part of your syllabus you can think of when you talk about stampede? Social issues. Okay, it's not a social issue. Science and tech. Very good. Artificial intelligence is there in crowd management. So it's about your disaster management. It's a disaster, right? Suddenly, and stampede keeps on happening in India. What do you think is the reason behind stampede? What is stampede? Okay, that's more important. People don't know what is stampede. Suddenly, let's say 100 people are sitting here. Suddenly someone says that there is a bomb, there is something over here, there is a cockroach. Suddenly people will start rushing in any direction. And let's say we have just one door or one way to go out. So imagine so many people are here. Then whatever will happen will be called as stampede. Someone will throw you here. Someone will run like you are something like what we call as that. Huh? No, that film stars go on what that red carpet. You become the red carpet and people will just run. That is stampede. And when stampede takes place, think about population in very high number. When there is a festival, or let's say India wins a match or something. Last time in Bangalore we saw the incident that took place. Such things happen. Kumbh Mela, many a times we got this news about stampede. At railway stations also such incidents happen. Okay, now it is obvious in a country wherein there is high population, it might happen, but it is not necessary. It is happening because the authorities or those people who are managing such places, they are not managing the crowd in the right way. It's a management problem, not population problem. Okay, if management is done in a good way, then such incidents will not happen. Okay, now stampede is in news since last 1 year consistently. It's a kind of disaster that is happening, so you should know this stampede and all. We can even expect one question even in mains, maybe this year also. Because since 1 year last, consistently I am observing this news, crowd management, that there is nothing specific government is doing regarding crowd management. That's the news we are getting consistently. Okay, that's how you think of what will be asked in exam. Now this is stampede. Okay, recently this happened in this particular, which Mansa Devi temple in Uttarakhand, Haridwar. Okay, now you just need to focus on the key issues involved over here. First thing is, such things happen most of the times when there are festivals or some kind of pilgrimage, because these are the things where you see more crowd. Second, major role right now is being played by something that we call as misinformation, or what you call as some kind of fake news. Suddenly a rumor, there is no bomb, but suddenly someone said there is a bomb. What the crowd will do, what they have to do, they'll do it. Simple. Similar thing happened over here. Someone said that the electricity wire is broken and this stampede took place. So because of misinformation, such things happen. Now sometimes people say that it's a conspiracy, someone has deliberately done this, or the other opposition parties, their members have done this so that they can say something about government, that government is not doing anything, they're not managing stuffs and all. Whatever may be the reason, this is the reality we have to accept, that rumors is something because of which such incidents are taking place. Okay, then infrastructural problem. Wherever you are organizing any event, it is the responsibility of the event organizers that they have to ensure that there should be some exit pathways available in case of emergency, and most of the time this is not available. The pathway to go, it's very narrow. Okay, because of which what happens, so many people, when they try to go from the same narrow path, and there is only one exit path at the end, then people will start suffocating the crowd. Because of that crowd, suddenly everyone is trying to go. That's because of suffocation, many people die. Okay, so this is infrastructural problem. Then if something is happening to a person, in such big organized events also, we don't find any emergency supply. Let's say someone needs this first aid, nothing is available. That's how we manage or organize events. Then as far as government dimension is concerned, now it's the responsibility of government, whether central government you say or state government, it is their responsibility to monitor any such big events which are taking place. Okay, which they can do even using some technology right now. Let's say using some drones, using some satellites, they can observe what is exactly happening in these areas. So this is where government is lacking. Okay, and if most important point is those organizers are not even thinking about any such disaster that can happen, because of which they are not making any arrangement. So you can keep some volunteers, such a big event is taking place, you can keep some volunteers who can guide people in such an incident. If something is happening, they can guide, but there are no volunteers, nothing as such we see. That's why continuously we get such news of crowd mismanagement from people. Okay, just remember this example. Okay, now next news. Today I felt like there are hardly any news items in the newspaper, and when there are less news, they will come up with more advertisements because they have to earn. So there's one news, this editorial by Harsh V. Pant. His articles are good with respect to international relations, with respect to India and its neighborhood, with respect to this world powers. Okay. Now what he's discussing over here is specific to Russia and not specific to India. What is happening is Russia has recently recognized Taliban government in Afghanistan. See, when US forces went back from Afghanistan, after that Taliban took complete control of Afghanistan. Okay, and when they took the control, most of the countries, they said that we are not going to have any relation with Taliban, because if you look at things from India's perspective or most of the Western countries' perspective, they look at Taliban as a terrorist organization, and a terrorist organization has taken control of the state. They have become state. Okay, so India obviously has this principled stance that will not talk to them, although it's just for saying, because you will have to get in touch with them no matter what. But at least on the official scale, we don't accept Taliban as the legitimate government of Afghanistan. So India's stance has always been, any government which is formed in Afghanistan should be Afghani people-led government. So that definition that we use for democracy, of the people, for the people, by the people. So such a government should be there, is India's stance. But reality is something different. In reality, Taliban is ruling. You have to accept it, and they are your neighbors. Okay. Is Afghanistan sharing border with India? Yes or no?
Yes.
Huh? Are you sure? No? Today's homework. Go and check. Okay. You will see. Practically also and theoretically also. Okay, theoretically yes. Officially, because some part of India, although we claim officially it is part of India, but we know that practically it is governed by Pakistan, right? Some part, same is the case with this Aksai Chin, which is with China, but we claim it's ours. So in the map we will show that. So officially, if you are someone asks you, yes, Afghanistan is our neighbor, but unofficially Pakistan shares border. Okay. Now the point is, Afghanistan matters to India, because if security situations in Afghanistan change, that affects India directly. Last time when Taliban government was in power, see, earlier Taliban came to power, okay, later on USA attacked, Taliban removed, and later on USA withdrew, and again Taliban came to power. So there is Taliban 1, Taliban 2.0. At the time of Taliban 1.0, what we have seen when Taliban was in power, that was the time when we saw suddenly Kashmir issue becoming very, very violent, very, very difficult for us. Because Afghanistan and Pakistan both collaborate to send some people in Kashmir, and this Kashmir conflict further gets ignited. Okay, and that's why we are very concerned. It's like for our regional security, Afghanistan's stability is very important. That's why we think about it. Now what is happening to Russia is, you see Russia is there, below Russia you will find the Central Asian region, and then Afghanistan, then region of India, Pakistan, all this region starts. For Russia, Russia's geography is very complicated. From all sides they have like enemies, almost all sides, right? So that's why Russians seem to be very harsh. They take harsh stands many a times. Now what Russia is trying to do, because they are already in this war, Russia-Ukraine war which is going on, right? Ukraine is being supported by USA consistently. Right now Trump is also trying to, go for any arrangement wherein they are trying to put pressure on Russia. Now if you see the region of Afghanistan, that's where even Russia is concerned. If there is no control or there is no communication with the region of Afghanistan, then it is challenging for even Russia. So there is some region of Russia, Chechnya region, in the southern part. So there you will observe Muslim population in that area. Russia is concerned that the population over there belongs to Sunni Islam, and Taliban is the extremist version coming from this Sunni Islam. So Russia is concerned that if I do not have good connect with Taliban, because anyway they are going to stay in power, and US forces have withdrawn. So this is a good time to get into it and somewhat build some decent relations with Taliban. That's how they are looking at it. So even if the world is taking a stance that we will not talk to Taliban, they are like, we are recognizing Taliban as the legitimate authority. Has India done this? Not yet. We have not yet done this. There is very less chance that we will do this. Okay, very less chance. Fine. Now what consequences there can be? Because this is something Russia also has done for the first time. When there was Taliban 1, first regime of Taliban was there, at that time Russia was completely against Taliban. Rather, Russia was making an alliance of countries who can fight with Taliban. Okay, you remember Taliban was created to remove this communist regime that was established in Russia. Okay, and now you see how things have changed. Now they are supporting Taliban. Okay, but if this happens, this is a concerning thing for India in future, because Russia in touch with Taliban, Taliban in touch with Pakistan, so this kind of axis gets developed. Even we think about this INSTC corridor. So we are planning to connect Russia, Central Asia with Iran and with Afghanistan, Iran and India. So we are planning like we'll go to Iran, we'll send some package to Iran, through Iran it will go to Afghanistan, then through that Central Asia and all. But now if Pakistan is getting into it, what will happen? It will not come to India as such, rather this will be a new route to Pakistan's Gwadar port. Okay, so we are concerned about that dimension. We are concerned about this relationship building, then that will cause some security issues for India. So this is something where this Harsh V. Pant is saying, you need to think about what will happen right now. Maybe India will have to recalibrate its foreign policy considering the changing situation over here in the region. Okay, this is a news in transition, so you don't need to worry much about it. Let things become a bit concrete. Okay. Next, state for the stateless. The West must follow France in recognizing Palestinian statehood. Again, I don't think as such like very important as such, but this is about the world news, what is happening. So this war is going on, Hamas versus Israel. Now what is happening is some kind of narrative that is being built up in the world. What US is trying to say, whatever Hamas is doing, that is wrong, so you should support Israel. Right now, the images of Gaza are becoming very common in Europe. What is happening in Gaza is so many people died, almost 60,000, 70,000 people died. Every day we get this news wherein children are asking for some food or something and they're not getting anything. Now such images are common in Europe, and in European politics somewhere what they are trying to do is they are trying to look at this issue as somewhere Israel is becoming little aggressive. So this war has to be stopped, and Europe looks at it this way, that we should accept that Palestine is one country. they talk about this two-state solution for this problem. Two-state solution means, let's accept there is Israel as one country, Palestine as one country. These are two different states which have to exist. Problem is, one side says, or Israeli side will say there is no Palestine, Palestine will say there is no Israel. Okay, so this is the two-state solution, and this is something even India adheres to. So many countries in the world, they support this idea of two-state solution. And in this, the controversial area, that is this area of Jerusalem. So this area, by this logic of two-state solution, it is being said that we can keep this area as a shared capital or shared territory. That means it will be accessible to both states. Okay, such a solution is being proposed in the United Nations also, and there are members like 147 out of 193 UN members who recognize Palestine as a state. India is also a part of it. India also accepts. In 1988, India recognized that Palestine is a state. Okay. Now, this is about the politics in Europe, specifically politics in France. Recently, France President Emmanuel Macron, he said that we are going to recognize Palestine as a state. Now, why this news becomes important is because of the importance of France, because France is a G7 country. So, till now so many countries recognized, but now a major country. France has substantial influence in Europe. Okay, France and Germany, you will see that they are nothing but the leaders of Europe or European Union. So if France is saying, that means entire Europe is saying, it's something you can understand. If France recognizes, you will see many other countries who will recognize Palestine as a state. Okay? And already there are many countries like Spain, Ireland, Norway, Slovenia, they have already recognized. So this shows the trend in Europe. If this happens, because of this you will see in the Western world, see when you talk about West, you see West as one unit, which includes America also and Europe also. They stay together and they rule over the entire planet because they stay together. But now we see fight between Western countries. Europe is taking one stance and USA is taking another one. USA is clear cut, like support Israel. Let's destroy Palestine. They don't have any problem to destroy entire Palestine. Clear? So this is part of politics, which you just need to observe what is happening. Okay, they have their things like, there are some Muslim population in France, so there's a pressure on the politicians. Then they have this pressure of having relations with Arab countries, like France also needs oil. Arab countries are important. Arab countries support the idea of Palestine. So it's part of politics. Overall such things happen, and because of this you will see some pressure building on Israel. Okay? Next, Modi ji is saying textile sector is very important. Textile sector is emerging as strength of the country. So Man Ki Baat event was taking place, here he talked about it. Now, is he really, whatever he is saying, is it really true or not, is something we are trying to focus here. So just look at some facts about textile sector. India's GDP contribution coming from textile sector is 2.3% of GDP. That's a very big number. Okay, 2.3% just coming from one small sector. That means it's not a small sector, it's a good sector. And by 2030, it is being expected that it will be 5%. Okay, rather you will understand better by looking at the global position of India. India is the second largest textile manufacturing capacity India has right now. Then sixth largest exporter in the entire world. As far as cotton production is concerned and jute production is concerned, in cotton we are second largest producer, and in jute we are number 1. Okay, these are the numbers which can show you is this statement correct or not. Okay, now one thing, because of this employment part, this textile sector becomes important, because this is the problem we are facing. India has this core problem in economy that we are seeing growth. Is India growing? Economically growing? We are one of the fastest growing economy in the entire world. So economically we are doing one of the best in the world. As far as growth, it's not like we have become the richest country, but as far as growth, like you are at 0, you are becoming 10, then 20, 30, others are like 1 or 2%. You are 8%, 9%, that's the growth rate you are having. So it's good. But the problem is, this growth is called as jobless growth. Growth is there, but there are no jobs. That's why we see unemployment rate. People complete engineering, don't get a job. It's not their fault. It's the government's fault that they're not able to bring jobs. Jobless growth is the term we use. This is very common. You'll see even some questions in the mains. There will be a direct statement that in India we see jobless growth. Why? Comment. Do you accept? You have to accept. It's reality. Okay. So there is a reason, like there are structural problems, like we directly from agriculture, we directly jump to the service sector instead of focusing on manufacturing sector. What is the problem with service sector? Wages. They pay a lot of salary, man. Software industries, 1 lakh, 2 lakh salary people get easily. Why wages is a problem? Very good. Service sector will have less employment availability. Like you have so many people over here. Not everyone is going to get the job in service sector. First of all, they need less number of people. Okay, and that too highly skilled. Only they will get job. What about rest of the population? What should they do? What they'll do? They'll go in agriculture. But agriculture, we don't need so many people in agriculture. Right now 50 people are there in agriculture, we only need 20 people. Still they can manage to produce the same amount of crop. So what we call it as disguised unemployment is present in our India or our agriculture sector. Disguised. You don't need so many people, still they are there. It looks like they are employed, but useless. Reason is our manufacturing sector is not so capable of absorbing people. We did not make our manufacturing sector big enough to absorb, because manufacturing sector is the one which can give more jobs to skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled people. Okay? And this population is more. So you look at this thing, in the manufacturing sector, this textile sector is doing good. So at least you can appreciate this part. What happened? Stampede. Okay? So just understand this one thing, that yes, manufacturing sector overall not doing good, textile sector doing good. Okay, just trend. Now government has brought some schemes also regarding this. PM Mitra Parks, production linked incentives, National Technical Textile Mission, and FDI policy. For the foreign direct investment part, government has allowed 100% FDI by automatic route. See what happens if someone from other country wants to invest in India, foreign direct investment that we call it. It happens by two different ways. One is automatic route, other one is government route. Automatic route means you don't need to think about anything, just come and just invest the money. Normal process you will have to follow. Okay. Government route means you need to take permission, you need to take some kind of permission from the government side. So you will make an application. If government approves, then you will get the chance to come here. Otherwise you don't. Okay? We do that sometimes when we are concerned about our own industries. If government feels that for some industries our market is very vulnerable, if foreigners will come, that our market will be destroyed completely. For that also government doesn't allow. Sometimes some sectors are so important for national security, like let's say atomic energy. We have power plants. Do we allow foreign companies to come in India and set up nuclear power plants? Or let's say defense units to, let's say, manufacturing some missiles or manufacturing some guns and all. So from national security point of view, it becomes little concerning. So sometimes these things are done for FDI. As far as this textile sector is concerned, India has allowed 100% FDI through automatic route. That means you don't need to take any permission from government. Any company around the world, they can come and invest in India. Okay, this is complete liberalization as far as textile sector is concerned. Okay, and these schemes which you can read in detail later on. Okay, what is this technical textile? Any idea? So there are some textile material, like textile means any cloths, any material that you can talk about. Now Technical textile means when you are making some kind of clothes which are a bit technical, which are very specific for a task. So let's say bulletproof jacket. It's a technical textile, right? It's not a normal cloth. It's a technical stuff wherein some technical expertise is required to make such a cloth or textile. Okay? Anything like that. Clear? Now in this Man Ki Baat, Modi ji talked about few success stories. I think these are good for essay. If I have to start, if somewhere I have to show something good happening, how someone has taken benefit of some government policy or something. So this is a good story. For example, this Kavita Dawali from Maharashtra, women entrepreneur earning 3 times more by making Pathani saris with government support. First of all, if there is anything related to women I have to write, it's a good example. If I have to support government, it's a good example. If I have to show how policy coming from central government is making change at the ground level. So anywhere I can set this example. Okay, so good example, you can make note of it. And he talked about this National Handloom Day. Do you think UPSC will ask about such National Handloom Day and all? They asked. Already they asked. Okay, so they asked. Unfortunate, but because this is related to your history part, when you read modern history, Swadeshi movement, so we use this August 7 every year. We say it's a National Handloom Day. So there was one statement in prelims once that given this statement directly, same statement, that on this day we celebrate this National Handloom Day, and second statement was related to the Swadeshi movement. Okay, so sometimes bad luck, they come up with any fact, we can't do anything. Okay, next, how is India preparing against GLOF events? This is important. Okay, it might not be there in the newspaper. GLOF. Now this is something related to glaciers. Any idea what is glacier? Group of icebergs. Huh? Okay, at least you can imagine what is a glacier, even if you don't know how to express it. Okay, so you will see snowfall in some areas. Continuously there is a snowfall in the mountainous region, let's say in Himalayas. Now this ice, this is snow that gets compressed. Okay, after compression, because of gravity, this will start moving. Because of gravity, it will start moving. Compression is also there, and this gravity part is also there. So this snow is moving, but it's moving so slow that you can't see it through your eyes. It is moving, but you will not able to observe it. And it's not like only some part. It's like you imagine like the entire building, or you think about the region of entire Ashok Nagar. That much area is moving. That's why I'm saying you will not be able to observe it through your naked eyes as such. Okay, this is the concept of glaciers. That's how glaciers are there. Now when these glaciers, this is nothing but snow. Now if the temperature increased, let's say there is so much sunlight, because of which temperature increased, what will happen with this glacier? It not move fast, it will melt first. First it will melt, then it will move fast. That moving fast, leave it. It will move slowly only. But it will melt, it will become water. That's the basic thing you can understand. Right? Now look at this. Here, let's say this is the glacier. Okay? Now it is melting, so it became the water, and here in the mountainous region some kind of lake has formed. Okay? If more glacier melting will take place, more water will be added. If suddenly the temperature becomes very high, suddenly I'm saying, suddenly lot of water will get added in it. And if this happens, here, earlier this water was just stored in this part. Okay, but because suddenly lot of water has got added in this, what we will see is a kind of burst. Suddenly lot of water will come down, and if there are some villages over there, suddenly you will see flooding in that area. Okay, this is the event that we call as this GLOF, Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. Glacier, glacial lake, that lake which is formed, outburst, flood. Clear? Now this incident happens many times. For example, in 2013, there was such incident in Kedarnath. You must be having those images if you have ever seen. Heavy floods. In 2023 also in Sikkim, we saw such incident taking place. Okay. Now this is something which is happening again and again. So you should know what are the reasons why in recent years we are observing this incident happening again and again. There are some natural reasons behind this. For example, glacier melts. We can't do anything about it. Even the rivers which are getting the water, like Ganga river and all, they're getting from glaciers, right? But now there is one added reason, anthropogenic or human-made reason, that is this phenomenon of climate change or global warming. Because of global warming, temperature is rising. 1 degree also temperature rises, suddenly you will see more glacier melting. So sudden outburst will become common. One reason. Second, there can be an earthquake, there can be landslides, there can be avalanches. If there is an earthquake in this mountain, then suddenly if, let's say, this area has got some rock. Here, let's say there are some rocks, because of which this water is not coming out over here. Yes? But because there is some earthquake, this rock will get fractured, will get destroyed. So suddenly, because of earthquake also, you can see such an outburst, because that water is already stored over there. Okay? Then there's possibility of heavy rainfall. Climate change is happening. We don't know what will happen where exactly. Suddenly there is heavy rainfall. Because of that also this will happen. And there's something called ice quake or cryocism, or some kind of earthquake in the ice. What happens is this ice part or this snow part, sometimes it suddenly gets fractured because of the energy stored in it. So we call it a kind of earthquake that takes place, although it's not the real earthquake. We just use this term called ice quake. So that is also a natural reason. Okay? Why this is happening more right now is just because of our reason. One is this climate change, and second is now we are building so many infrastructural projects in such fragile regions. So Himalayan region you say, or Western Ghat region you say, these are very fragile, very vulnerable regions, and there when you build any tunnel, any infrastructure, any road, any such things, then you are making this area more vulnerable. Okay, so this is the area you need to focus on, because this is something, the problem that we are creating. In reality, the problem was not there, only natural part was there. Okay? Any doubt? No? Now as far as India's preparedness part is concerned, now this is something you will anyway read in the disaster management. Okay, just briefly you should know, we have this ISRO, and ISRO has this National Remote Sensing Center. So remote sensing, they have some satellites which go for remote sensing. They are just taking images, you can say simply. So they keep on tracking where this glacier size is increasing, where this glacier melting is happening continuously, that they will observe. And as far as we have this National Disaster Management Authority, they have to deal with any such disaster. This is also a disaster. Okay, so NDMA has come up with so many guidelines. Short term, some measures they will take, some long term measures they will take. You can read that part. Anyway, you will study that part in disaster management. Okay, you should have a brief idea about this NDMA. That's it. Okay, this is also very important topic. Fine. So that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts, please ask. No? Okay.